I want to tell you about a study that I find interesting. Participants were asked to fill out a survey on a computer. So they went into a room, you can imagine, they're seated before a computer screen, and they have about 20 minutes. It'll take that long to complete a survey. So they're pretty invested in the process. And at a certain predetermined point, the participant will see the screen go blank and maybe some symbols come on it, and it'll be something that obviously mimics the system failing. And the technician will come in and say, "Oh, I'm really sorry. That happens sometimes. I'm really sorry, but you're going to have to start over again at the beginning." So you can imagine, if you're that participant, what that moment feels like. And the technician tries again but has no luck. The person is brought to the beginning of their survey process. And then another person comes in who works in the lab in the university, and she looks and she says, "Hold on a minute, I think I might be able to fix this." And she sits down and she starts pressing keys and pressing keys, and lo and behold, the problem's solved, and they haven't lost their survey. They don't have to start over. Everything is saved and they're done. And this person came in and essentially saved the hour. So what do they feel in that moment? Well, we call it gratitude, relief, but gratitude. What do they feel toward that person? Gratitude. Now, why is this interesting? Well, first of all, to me, it's interesting because I think gratitude is pretty amorphous. It's pretty abstract. We all want to be grateful. We all talk about our gratitude. We'll even express gratitude. But my question is, do we feel it? Are we actually grateful? So Judaism gives you 100 blessings to say in a single day. Imagine, right? But the idea is, I think of it as 100 little spritzes on your face of water, waking you up to the majesty of life, to the tiny and giant miracles of a single day, all that's good in your life, even on the difficult days, or especially then. But I also think that that's difficult to internalize. I think often we will say that we are thankful for, or say that we are grateful, but maybe we even ask ourselves, am I really grateful, or is this just some kind of above the neck expression of something that I think I should be saying? So growing up, we would have the kids, before they would eat their challah on a Friday night, say something they're grateful for that happened that week. Many families do this. Then the kids would say, "I'm grateful for my friends, my grades, that I did well in that test," whatever it was, my family, hopefully. Well, all good, but my question also every time in my head is this making a difference? Yes, it's giving them a certain awareness, but I'm not sure if that is actually feeding and cultivating gratitude. That's something deeper and richer. Well, let's go back to this study. What that person felt, the study participant, when that person came in, that woman who relieved them of their worry and having to start over again, was probably the closest thing to real, palpable, felt gratitude that you and I know. It was real gratitude to a single person, to one person that we saw give us relief from our problem. So that's interesting from a psychological point of view, right? And we are all psychological. But add a moral aspect to it, which is what happens next in that experiment. The study then followed the people as they left the study facility. And what they saw was they would plant people on the way between the study facility and the person's car, let's say. And they would plant somebody on the way who needed help, whatever that help was. And they looked at people who were in the study and others around them. They found a very, very high incidence of people who left the study having had that relief and that sense of gratitude, then going out and helping somebody on their way out to the car, even when it was inconvenient to them. That's where gratitude becomes moral. That's where gratitude starts to matter more. You see, I think that if you look at a religious tradition, then you assume that there's a God that is ordaining that tradition and those behaviors. Well, I don't believe in God who wants us to be grateful so that we can be happy, end of sentence. I don't think that's enough, because I don't think that changes anything other than my feeling about myself in a given moment, and that might have value, but I don't think it has enough value. It certainly doesn't cross over into the realm of moral value. But what happens is when gratitude is cultivated and gratitude is felt, what I believe and what we see and what that study proves is that we become something else, which is generous. And I think that's the moral state that we're working toward. Gratitude, certainly. Be around that table and before you eat, say a blessing, or thank the people in your life, or be thankful, or express thanks, particularly at this time of the year when people need to hear it from one another. But then ask yourself what that thankfulness does. And if it merely lives in words, it's not doing enough. And certainly, if it just lives in feeling, it isn't entering into the realm of the moral world. And the moral world is the one between you and the next person. How your behavior is, what you do as a result of how you feel, is ultimately your measure as a human being in any given time in your life. So let's go out and express gratitude, feel gratitude, but most of all, let's act on it in ways that express generosity.